The massive alien ships appeared in Earth's sky like dark clouds on a clear day. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the blue planet below. His reptilian eyes showed nothing but disgust. To him, Earth was just another worthless rock filled with primitive creatures. "These humans are barely out of their caves," Vextar said to his second-in-command. "Our reports say they still fight wars with chemical explosives. This will be easier than conquering the plant people of Vegro 7. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled over dozens of worlds. Their technology was thousands of years ahead of anything humans had ever dreamed of. Their energy shields could stop any weapon. Their plasma cannons could destroy entire cities in minutes. 50 ships should be more than enough to make these hairless apes surrender." Far away on the planet Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council watched through their viewing screens. 12 different alien races sat around a huge table, each representing their own civilization. Most of them looked bored. "Another primitive world falls to the Zephyrians," said Ambassador Keltos, a tall blue creature with 4 arms. "How long do we think this will take?" 3 days, 4? "These humans look particularly weak," replied Observer Nimara, whose crystal body sparkled under the chamber lights. "They cannot even travel to other star systems yet. I give them 2 days before complete surrender." The other council members nodded in agreement. They had seen this happen many times before. A strong race would find a weak planet, attack it, and add it to their empire. It was the natural way of things in the galaxy. On Earth, Jake Morrison was fixing an old truck engine in his garage in Montana when the sky suddenly got dark. He looked up and saw something that made his heart stop. Huge black ships hung in the air above his small town like metal mountains. "What in the hell?" Jake whispered. He had fought in 3 wars as a Marine. He had seen bombs and bullets and death, but he had never seen anything like this. The ships were so big they blocked out the sun. Strange lights flickered along their sides. His phone started ringing. Then every phone in town started ringing. Emergency alerts screamed from radios and televisions. The news showed the same terrible sight in every major city on Earth. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. All had alien ships floating above them. Jake's daughter Amy was serving on the USS Defiance somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. He tried calling her but got no signal. The aliens were blocking all communications. In Washington, D.C., General Frank Carter rushed into the Pentagon's command center. Screens showed alien ships over every continent. His best military minds stared at the displays with worried faces. "What do we know about their weapons?" Carter asked. "Sir, our satellites detected energy readings off the charts," replied Colonel Brown. "These ships could level entire cities with one shot." "And our weapons? Our missiles bounce off some kind of energy barrier around their ships. Our fighters can't even get close." Carter felt sick. Humanity's most advanced weapons were useless against these invaders. But he was a soldier. Giving up was not an option. On the USS Defiance, Lieutenant Amy Morrison watched the alien ships through her binoculars. The young naval officer had trained for many kinds of battles, but not this. Her ship's captain, Admiral Lisa Hayes, stood beside her with a grim face. "Orders from command," Hayes said. "All ships are to engage the enemy." Amy knew it was hopeless. Their missiles and guns were like throwing rocks at a tank. But they had to try. The ship's crew prepared for battle even though they all knew they would probably die. The first attack came at sunset. Bright beams of energy shot down from the alien ships. Where they hit, buildings simply disappeared. Not destroyed, completely gone as if they had never existed. Millions of people died in the first hour. But something strange happened. Instead of surrendering, humans got angry. Instead of running away, they fought back. Even when their weapons did nothing, they kept shooting. Even when their cities burned, they refused to give up. Jake Morrison grabbed his old hunting rifle and ran outside. Other people from his town did the same. They knew their bullets could not hurt the giant ships, but they fired anyway. It was all they could do. The Zephyrians began landing troops in the major cities. Their soldiers wore advanced armor and carried energy weapons. They expected the humans to run away screaming. Instead, human soldiers and police officers charged straight at them. Many died, but some found ways to fight back. Admiral Vextar watched the battle reports with growing confusion. "Why do they not surrender?" he asked his officers. "Their weapons cannot hurt us. Their armies are being destroyed. Why do they keep fighting?" "Perhaps they are too stupid to understand they have lost," one officer replied. "Or perhaps," said another, They are too crazy to care. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council members began to look worried. Ambassador Keltos read the latest reports with growing concern. The humans have been fighting for 3 days now, he said. The Zephyrians predicted complete victory in 2 days. Surely it is just a matter of time, replied Observer Nimara. But her crystal body flickered with uncertainty. The truth was that humans were learning fast. When their missiles bounced off alien shields, they tried ramming trucks loaded with explosives into alien positions. When their rifles could not pierce alien armor, they used the aliens' own fallen weapons against them. Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked day and night in an underground laboratory, studying pieces of destroyed alien equipment. She was a scientist, not a soldier, but she knew that understanding the enemy was the key to defeating them. Their technology is incredibly advanced, she told her assistant. But everything has a weakness. We just need to find it. Meanwhile, Captain Steve Davis led a small group of soldiers through the ruins of downtown Los Angeles. They had been fighting for 72 hours straight. Half his men were dead or wounded, but they kept moving, kept fighting, kept hoping. Sir, one of his soldiers said, maybe we should retreat, regroup somewhere safe. Steve looked at the young soldier. Son, there is nowhere safe on this planet anymore. Our only choice is to fight or die, and I would rather die fighting. Back in space, Admiral Vextar was beginning to worry. His invasion should have been over by now. Instead, it had turned into a long, bloody war. The humans seemed to get stronger every day, not weaker. He did not know that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their weapons. It was their refusal to give up, no matter how hopeless things seemed. It was their ability to turn their pain into rage, their fear into determination. The Galactic Council was about to learn this lesson too, and they would never forget it. 3 weeks had passed since the aliens first appeared. The Galactic Council had expected to hear news of Earth's surrender by now. Instead, they received reports that made them increasingly uncomfortable. Ambassador Keltos read the latest update from the battlefield. His 4 blue hands trembled slightly as he held the datapad. The Zephyrian invasion force has lost 12 ships, he announced to the council chamber. 12 ships to a primitive planet that should not have been able to destroy even one. Observer Neymara's crystal body flickered with nervous energy. How is this possible? The humans have no technology that can penetrate Zephyrian shields. Apparently they are learning, Keltos replied, and learning fast. On Earth, Dr. Elena Rodriguez had not slept in 2 days. She worked in a hidden laboratory beneath the ruins of what used to be Chicago. Around her, pieces of alien technology covered every table. She had studied the wreckage of destroyed Zephyrian ships, and she was beginning to understand how their shields worked. The energy barriers are almost perfect, she explained to General Carter, over a secure radio. They can stop any energy weapon we have. But I think I found something. The shields have trouble with solid objects moving at very specific speeds. What kind of speeds? Carter asked. Very fast, but not too fast. Like a bullet from a high-powered rifle, but not like a missile. The shield tries to calculate the object's energy level, but if the speed is just right, it gets confused. Carter felt the first spark of hope he had experienced in weeks. Can we use this? Maybe, but we need more testing. And we need to capture more alien equipment. In the mountains of Montana, Jake Morrison had become something he never expected to be, a guerrilla fighter. His small group had grown from 5 people to over 200. They hid in caves and attacked alien supply lines whenever possible. The key is to never fight them head-on, Jake explained to Katie Johnson, a former Army Ranger who had joined his group. These lizards expect us to line up like soldiers and let them shoot us. Instead, we hit them when they don't expect it, then disappear. Katie nodded. She had lost her entire unit in the first week of fighting. Now she lived for revenge. What's our next target? There's an alien communication tower about 10 miles south, Jake said. If we can take it out, they'll be blind in this whole area. Pete Williams, their explosives expert, grinned. I've been saving some special surprises for just this kind of job. The attack on the communication tower taught the Zephyrians an important lesson about human warfare. Jake's group struck at night using the darkness like a weapon. They planted explosives while Pete created diversions. When the tower exploded, the aliens found themselves cut off from their command structure. But the real surprise came when the Zephyrians sent reinforcements. Instead of retreating, the humans had set traps. Hidden mines destroyed 2 alien vehicles. Snipers picked off soldiers from impossible distances. When the aliens finally drove the humans away, they had lost more equipment and soldiers than they had gained. Captain Steve Davis had a different approach to fighting the invaders. His team operated in the cities using the ruins as cover. They had learned to steal alien weapons and turn them against their former owners. The lizards are strong and they have good armor, Steve told his soldiers, but they're not very smart about urban fighting. They expect enemies to come from the front. They don't watch their backs. Steve's team had developed a new tactic. They would attack alien patrols from multiple directions at once. While the aliens focused on the obvious threat, other humans would sneak around and attack from behind. It was working better than anyone had hoped. The breakthrough came when Steve's team captured an intact alien communication device. They brought it to Alex Turner, a computer programmer who had volunteered to help the resistance. Alex was amazed by the alien technology. "This is incredible," he said, studying the device. "Their computers are so advanced, but they're not encrypted very well. I think I can break into their communication network." "What would that get us?" Steve asked. "Everything. Their troop movements, their supply schedules, their battle plans, maybe even communications with their home planet." While Alex worked on cracking the alien codes, the war continued to rage across Earth, but something was changing. The Zephyrians were no longer advancing. In some places, they were actually retreating. Admiral Vextar paced on his command bridge, his tail lashing with anger. "How are these primitives holding us back?" he demanded. "We have superior technology, superior weapons, superior numbers, yet we cannot secure even one continent." His second-in-command looked nervous. "Sir, the humans fight differently than any species we have encountered. They do not seem to fear death. In fact, the more we kill, the more determined they become. That is impossible. All intelligent species value their lives above everything else." "Perhaps, sir, these humans are not entirely intelligent." Vextar considered this. It would explain many things, but it also made the humans more dangerous, not less. A stupid enemy might surrender when defeated. A crazy enemy might fight until every last one was dead. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council was beginning to panic. Observer Nimara presented her latest report with obvious worry. "The humans have now been fighting for 21 standard days," she said. "Not only have they not surrendered, but they appear to be getting stronger. Zephyrian losses are increasing daily. How is this possible?" asked the representative from the Arcturian Federation. "Primitive species always surrender quickly when faced with superior technology. These humans seem to have an unusual psychological profile," Nimara replied. "Instead of becoming more compliant when threatened, they become more dangerous. It is completely contrary to normal behavior patterns." Ambassador Keltos felt a chill run through his body. He had studied galactic history for centuries. He knew of only one other species that had shown similar traits: the ancient devourers who had nearly destroyed half the galaxy before they were finally stopped. "We need to consider the possibility," he said carefully, "that we are dealing with a naturally aggressive species." The council chamber fell silent. Naturally aggressive species were extremely rare in the galaxy. Most intelligent life forms evolved beyond such primitive instincts. But occasionally a species would develop intelligence while keeping their predatory nature. Such species were extremely dangerous. "Surely you are not suggesting these humans are apex predators, said the ethereal collective representative. "I am suggesting," Keltos replied, "that we need to watch this situation very carefully." Back on Earth, Alex Turner made the breakthrough that would change everything. He cracked the alien communication network and intercepted a transmission that made his blood run cold. "General Carter," he said over the radio, "you need to hear this. I've translated part of a message from the alien command ship." "What does it say?" "They're not just here to conquer us, sir. They're here to harvest us. They want to use humans as slave labor and study our biology for weapons research. And sir, this isn't their main fleet. This is just a scouting force. The real invasion is still coming." Carter felt his heart sink. If this small force had caused so much destruction, what would happen when the real alien army arrived? But then he thought about Jake Morrison and his mountain fighters. He thought about Steve Davis and his urban warriors. He thought about Dr. Rodriguez and her scientific discoveries. He thought about all the humans who had refused to give up even when defeat seemed certain. "Alex," he said, "keep monitoring their communications. Find out everything you can about this main fleet." "Yes, sir." "What are you planning?" Carter smiled grimly. I'm planning to show these aliens exactly what humans are capable of when they're really angry. In space, Admiral Vextar received new orders from his superiors. He was to request immediate reinforcements. The simple conquest of Earth had become a full-scale war, and the Zephyrian Empire was no longer certain of victory. As he prepared the message, Vextar wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. Perhaps these humans were not as primitive as they appeared. Perhaps underestimating them had been the greatest error of his long military career. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council waited for more reports. None of them knew that they were witnessing the birth of the galaxy's newest and most dangerous apex predator species. They would learn soon enough. Alex Turner stared at his computer screen in horror. The alien message he had just decoded was worse than anything he had imagined. His hands shook as he reached for the radio to contact General Carter. "Sir, I have terrible news," Alex said. "The aliens have been using only 20% of their real military power. They thought Earth would surrender immediately, so they didn't bother sending their full fleet." 20%? Carter's voice crackled through the static. "You mean there are more ships coming?" "Much more, sir. But that's not the worst part. I found records of what they plan to do with us. They want to take humans back to their world as slaves, but they also want to study our bodies to make biological weapons." Carter was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was cold as ice. "Alex, send this information to every resistance cell on the planet. Every soldier, every scientist, every civilian fighter needs to know what we're really fighting for." The news spread like wildfire through the human resistance networks. Jake Morrison read the message in his mountain hideout and felt rage burn through his chest. Katie Johnson loaded her rifle with deadly purpose. Pete Williams began preparing his biggest explosives yet. "They want to turn us into slaves," Jake told his fighters. "They want to cut us up and study us like animals." Well, I got news for these lizard bastards. Humans don't make good slaves. Meanwhile, Dr. Elena Rodriguez had made her own breakthrough. Working with captured alien technology, she had finally figured out how to penetrate their energy shields. The secret was in the speed and angle of projectiles. "If we fire a solid metal rod at exactly the right velocity and spin," she explained to a group of military engineers, "their shields can't handle it. The energy barrier gets confused and fails for just a moment, but that moment is enough." The first test happened over the ruins of New York City. Amy Morrison, now promoted to admiral after her father's resistance work provided crucial intelligence, led a squadron of modified human ships. They had taken old missiles and replaced the explosive warheads with solid metal spears. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," Amy spoke into her radio. "Remember, we get one shot at this. If Dr. Rodriguez is wrong, we're all dead." "And if she's right," replied Commander Ryan Bell, "we're about to make history." The human ships approached 3 Zephyrian cruisers that were bombarding what remained of Manhattan. The aliens barely noticed the primitive human vessels. Their shields had stopped thousands of human attacks before, but this time was different. The modified missiles struck the alien shields at exactly the right speed and angle. For just a fraction of a second, the energy barriers failed. The metal spears punched through and tore into the alien ships' hulls. The 3 Zephyrian cruisers exploded in brilliant balls of fire. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council watched the battle through their viewing screens. Observer Nimara's crystal body flickered wildly with shock. "Impossible," she whispered. "The humans just destroyed 3 Zephyrian warships with primitive kinetic weapons." Ambassador Keltos felt his 4 hearts racing. "How long has it been since the invasion began?" 93 standard days, replied the Arcturian representative. "In 93 days, these humans have gone from helpless primitives to a species capable of destroying advanced alien warships." Keltos looked around the council chamber. "Do you understand what this means?" The other council members stared at him with growing fear. They were beginning to understand exactly what it meant. Back on Earth, news of the victory in New York spread instantly through the resistance networks. For the first time since the invasion began, humans had proven they could hurt their enemies. The effect on human morale was electric. Jake Morrison's mountain fighters had grown into a network spanning entire continents. Working with former NASA engineer Susan Price, they had built crewed spacecraft using salvaged alien technology. "It ain't pretty," Susan admitted, looking at their homemade ship, "but it should fly. And more importantly, it should explode real good when it hits something." Their first orbital strike targeted an alien supply depot on the moon. The Zephyrians never saw it coming. Jake's improvised spacecraft, loaded with every explosive Pete Williams could find, slammed into the depot at tremendous speed. The explosion could be seen from Earth. Admiral Vextar received the report with disbelief. "They attacked our lunar base? With what?" "Some kind of primitive vessel, sir," his aide replied. "Our sensors barely detected it before impact." How did they even reach orbit? Their technology should not allow for spaceflight. "Sir, intelligence reports suggest they are using our own technology against us. Somehow they are learning to reverse engineer our equipment." Vexitar felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. Not fear of death in battle, but fear of an enemy that seemed to grow stronger every time he fought them. The second major breakthrough came when Captain Steve Davis led a raid on a Zephyrian command post in Los Angeles. His urban warfare team had become experts at fighting in the ruins of cities. They moved through the rubble like ghosts, striking without warning. The command post contained something priceless: intact alien communication equipment and computer systems. Steve's team captured everything and brought it to Alex Turner. "This is incredible," Alex said, studying the alien computers. "These systems contain detailed information about Zephyrian military structure, their home planet, even their weaknesses." "What kind of weaknesses?" Steve asked. "Well, for one thing, they've been relying on technology for so long that they've lost most of their natural survival instincts. They expect their equipment to do everything for them. If you take away their technology, they're almost helpless." But the most shocking discovery was still to come. Deep in the alien computer files, Alex found communications between the Zephyrian fleet and the Galactic Council. "General Carter," Alex called over the radio, his voice filled with anger. "You need to know something. These aliens didn't just randomly pick Earth to invade. The Galactic Council knew about us. They've been watching us, and they told the aliens that Earth would be a good test case to see how dangerous humans really are." Carter felt rage unlike anything he had ever experienced. "You mean this whole war is some kind of experiment?" "Yes, sir. They wanted to see if humans were a threat to galactic stability. Well, I think they're about to get their answer." The tide of war was turning rapidly now. Dr. Rodriguez's shield-penetrating weapons were being mass-produced. Jake Morrison's resistance network had spread to every continent. Steve Davis's urban fighters were capturing alien equipment faster than it could be replaced. But most importantly, humans were no longer just defending themselves. They were starting to think about offense. Admiral Amy Morrison stood on the bridge of humanity's most advanced warship, a hybrid vessel built using captured alien technology. Around her, human engineers worked alongside alien computers they had learned to operate. "Admiral," her communications officer reported, "we've located the main Zephyrian staging area. It's on the dark side of the moon." Amy smiled grimly. "Then that's where we're going. It's time to take this fight to them." On Nexus Prime, panic was beginning to spread through the Galactic Council chambers. The latest reports from Earth were beyond anything they had imagined possible. "The humans are not just resisting," observer Nimara reported. "They are adapting Zephyrian technology and improving it. In some cases, their modifications are more efficient than the original designs." "This is unprecedented," said the ethereal collective representative. "No primitive species has ever shown this level of technological adaptation." Ambassador Kelto stood up slowly. "I propose that we make immediate contact with the humans. We should offer them membership in the Galactic Council." "Membership?" The Arcturian representative was shocked. "They are still a primitive species." "No," Keltos replied quietly. "They are an apex predator species that we accidentally awakened. And if we do not make peace with them soon, they may decide that we are their enemies too." The vote was close, but the Council agreed. They would send a diplomatic mission to Earth immediately, but they had no idea that it was already too late. Admiral Amy Morrison's fleet was already preparing to launch humanity's first interstellar military operation. And their target was not just the Zephyrian moonbase. Their target was the Zephyrian homeworld itself. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had discovered something in the captured alien computers: the location of every Zephyrian military installation in their empire. And General Carter had made a decision that would shake the galaxy. "If they want to see how dangerous humans can be," he told his staff, "then let's show them." The age of human expansion into the galaxy was about to begin, and the Galactic Council's worst fears were about to come true. Dr. Elena Rodriguez made a discovery that would terrify the entire galaxy. Working in her underground laboratory, she had been studying Zephyrian biological samples taken from captured soldiers. What she found changed everything humans thought they knew about their enemies. "General Carter," she said over the secure radio, "I need to tell you something that will shock you. These Zephyrians are not natural predators. They evolved on a peaceful planet with no dangerous animals. For thousands of years, they have used technology to do everything for them." "What does that mean for us?" Carter asked. "It means they have no real survival instincts. When their technology fails, they panic. They don't know how to improvise or adapt. But humans, we evolved as hunters. We had to survive ice ages, predators, diseases, wars. We never stopped being dangerous." Carter understood immediately. "So when we take away their technological advantages, they become helpless. But there's more, sir. I've been studying their biology. I think I can create enhancements for human soldiers using their own technology." The first test of human enhancement came sooner than expected. Captain Steve Davis volunteered to be the test subject for Dr. Rodriguez's experiments. Using captured Zephyrian biotechnology, she enhanced his reflexes, strength, and mental processing speed. The results were incredible. Steve could now react 3 times faster than a normal human. His muscles were twice as strong. His mind could process tactical information at superhuman speeds. "How do you feel?" Dr. Rodriguez asked after the procedure. Steve flexed his hands and felt power flowing through his body. "I feel like I could take on an entire alien squad by myself." "Let's hope you don't have to," she replied. But they both knew he probably would. The real test came during the assault on the Zephyrian lunar base. Admiral Amy Morrison led a fleet of 20 hybrid human-alien warships toward the moon. The ships looked strange. Part human engineering, part alien technology, but somehow better than either alone. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," Amy spoke into her radio. "Remember, our goal is not just to destroy this base. We want to capture as much technology and intelligence as possible." The Zephyrians defending the lunar base had no idea what was coming. They expected primitive human ships that their weapons could easily destroy. Instead, they faced vessels that moved like human fighters but had shields and weapons as powerful as their own. Commander Ryan Bell led the first wave of attack ships. His enhanced reflexes, courtesy of Dr. Rodriguez's treatments, allowed him to pilot his hybrid vessel with impossible precision. He danced between alien weapons fire, striking targets that should have been impossible to hit. "This is incredible," Ryan radioed to his wingman. "I can see everything happening in slow motion. It's like the aliens are moving through thick mud." The battle for the lunar base lasted only 4 hours. When it was over, the entire Zephyrian installation was in human hands. But more importantly, the humans had captured something priceless: the complete database of Zephyrian military intelligence. Alex Turner spent 3 days studying the captured data. What he found made him call an emergency meeting with all of Earth's military leaders. "The Zephyrian Empire controls 47 star systems," he reported. "They have conquered over 200 different species. But here's the interesting part. They've never faced any real resistance. Every species they've attacked has surrendered within days." "Until now," General Carter said grimly. "Right. And there's more. I found the communication logs between the Zephyrian Command and the Galactic Council. The Council has been watching humanity for decades. They recommended Earth as a target because they wanted to test whether humans were a potential threat to galactic stability." The room fell silent. Every human leader felt the same cold anger building in their chest. "So this whole war," Admiral Amy Morrison said slowly, "was just an experiment to see how dangerous we are?" "Yes," Alex replied. "And now they're getting their answer." Jake Morrison's resistance network had evolved far beyond what anyone had imagined possible. From his base in the Montana mountains, he now coordinated guerrilla operations on 17 different worlds. Using captured Zephyrian ships, his fighters had spread throughout the local star system, liberating alien slave colonies and turning their populations against their former masters. "The key," Jake explained to Katie Johnson during a strategy meeting, "is that most of the species the aliens conquered still hate them. They're just too scared to fight back. But when they see humans winning battles, they start to believe resistance is possible." Katie nodded. Her own enhancement treatments had made her into a nearly perfect sniper. She could hit targets at distances that should have been impossible. "How many species are willing to join us?" 12 so far, Jake replied. And more every day. It turns out the galaxy is full of people who hate the Zephyrians. They just needed someone to show them how to fight. But the most shocking development came from an unexpected source. Sarah Kim, a former Air Force pilot, had volunteered for the most extreme enhancement procedures Dr. Rodriguez had developed. The results turned her into something that was barely still human. Sarah's reflexes were now 10 times faster than normal. Her mind could process information at computer speeds. Her enhanced muscles could function in zero gravity without a spacesuit. She had become the perfect spacefighter pilot. I can see individual photons, Sarah reported after her first test flight. I can calculate the exact trajectory of enemy weapons fire before they even shoot. It's like I'm living in the future compared to everyone else. The enhanced humans were so effective that the Zephyrians began to panic. Admiral Vextar sent increasingly desperate messages to his superiors. These humans are not normal, he reported. They adapt faster than any species we have ever encountered. They take our technology and make it better. They turn our own weapons against us, and now they are modifying themselves using our biotechnology. Surely you exaggerate, came the reply from Zephyrian High Command. Sir, I have lost 60% of my fleet. The humans have captured 4 of our major installations. They are now attacking our supply lines in the outer system. This is no longer an invasion. This is a war for survival. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council was in emergency session. Observer Nimara presented her latest report with obvious terror in her voice. The humans have now been fighting for 8 standard months, she said. Not only have they stopped the Zephyrian invasion, but they have gone on the offensive. They are liberating Zephyrian slave worlds and turning conquered species against their former masters. How is this possible? Demanded the ethereal collective representative. The humans appear to be apex predators with an unprecedented ability to adapt and learn, Nimara replied. They are not just using Zephyrian technology, they are improving it. Some human modifications are 50% more efficient than the original alien designs. Ambassador Keltos felt fear unlike anything he had experienced in his long life. What is their current military capacity? Unknown, sir. They appear to be building new ships and weapons faster than we can count them, and they are enhancing their own biology, using captured alien technology. Some human soldiers now have capabilities that exceed most Galactic Council species. The council chamber erupted in panicked voices. Several representatives demanded immediate military intervention. Others called for diplomatic contact. A few suggested retreating to the far side of the galaxy. Silence. Ambassador Keltos shouted. We have created this situation by allowing the Zephyrians to test these humans. Now we must deal with the consequences. What do you propose? Asked the Arcturian representative. We send a diplomatic mission immediately. We offer the humans membership in the Galactic Council. We give them technology, resources, anything they want, but we must not let them see us as enemies. And if they refuse, Keltos looked around the chamber at his fellow council members. Then we evacuate this sector of the galaxy and hope they don't follow us. But unknown to the Galactic Council, General Carter had already made his decision. The humans would not be content with simply defending Earth or even defeating the Zephyrians. They had learned something important about the galaxy. It was full of bullies who preyed on the weak. Admiral Morrison, Carter said during a secure communication, I want you to prepare for a deep space mission. We're going to hit the Zephyrian homeworld directly. Sir, that's over 20 light years away. It would take months to get there. Then we better start planning now, because I want every alien species in this galaxy to understand one thing. Humans protect the innocent and punish the guilty, and we don't care how advanced your technology is. Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked around the clock to prepare for the mission. She had developed new enhancements that would allow human soldiers to survive in any environment. She had created hybrid ships that combined the best of human and alien technology. She had even found ways to improve alien computers using human programming techniques. We're not just going to defeat them, she told her research team. We're going to show the entire galaxy what happens when you make humans angry. The Zephyrian Empire was about to learn that there are some species you should never, ever attack. And the Galactic Council was about to discover. What authority? Keltos replied bitterly. Look at those ships. Look at what those humans accomplished in 2 years. We spent 1,000 years building our careful system of control, and they destroyed it all by refusing to be victims. The meeting between Admiral Amy Morrison and the Galactic Council would be remembered as the moment when galactic civilization entered a new age. Amy sat across from 12 terrified alien representatives, her enhanced awareness allowing her to read their fear and desperation. "The human alliance has some demands," she said calmly. "First, all slave species throughout the galaxy will be freed immediately. Second, any species that wants protection will receive it. Third, the Galactic Council will provide full reparations to all species harmed by your enforcement policies. And if we refuse?" Ambassador Keltos asked Wea. The human fleet that approached the Zephyrian homeworld was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Amy Morrison stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the alien planet grow larger on her screens. Behind her followed 200 ships, some human-built, some captured alien vessels, and some that were strange hybrids of both technologies. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," she spoke into her communicator. "Remember, our mission is not just to defeat the Zephyrian military. We are here to liberate every slave species they have captured and show the galaxy that humanity protects the innocent." The Zephyrian Home Defense Fleet rushed to meet them, 300 ships armed with the most advanced weapons in their empire. Their commanders felt confident. Surely no primitive species could threaten their homeworld. They were wrong. The first exchange of fire lasted only minutes. The human ships moved with impossible coordination, their enhanced pilots reacting faster than Zephyrian computers could calculate. Sarah Kim, her body modified far beyond normal human limits, flew her fighter through formations of enemy ships like a deadly dance. "I can see their weapons charging before they fire," Sarah reported over the radio. "I can calculate their flight patterns 3 moves ahead. They're so slow compared to us." Captain Steve Davis led the boarding assault on the largest Zephyrian battleship. His enhanced strength and speed made him nearly unstoppable. When Zephyrian soldiers shot at him, he moved too fast for their weapons to track. When they tried to fight him hand-to-hand, his enhanced muscles broke their weapons and armor. "It's not even fair," Steve reported to his team. "These aliens have no idea how to fight without their technology. Take away their fancy weapons and they're helpless." The battle for the Zephyrian homeworld lasted 18 hours. When it was over, the entire Zephyrian space fleet was destroyed or captured. But more importantly, the humans had liberated 47 different slave species from Zephyrian control. Jake Morrison's ground forces had perfected the art of liberating alien prison camps, working with resistance fighters from dozens of different species. They swept across the planet, freeing slaves and destroying Zephyrian control centers. "The key," Jake explained to his mixed species army, "is that these lizards have never faced a real guerrilla war. They expect enemies to fight like soldiers in neat formations. When we hit them from all directions at once, they panic." The freed alien species were amazed by human tactics. Many had been slaves for generations and had forgotten what it felt like to fight back. But humans taught them something important, that any oppressor could be defeated if you were willing to pay the price. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had established research stations throughout the captured Zephyrian territories. Working with alien scientists who had been forced to serve their conquerors, she made breakthrough after breakthrough in biotechnology and engineering. "The most incredible thing," she told General Carter during a secure transmission, "is that most of these alien species are more advanced than the Zephyrians in their own specialties. The lizards just used superior military force to control them, but now that they're free, they're helping us improve our technology even further." Alex Turner had cracked every Zephyrian computer system in their empire. What he found sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. "Sir," he reported to Admiral Morrison, "I've accessed their complete historical records. The Zephyrian Empire has conquered and enslaved over 400 different species in the last 1,000 years. But here's the really interesting part. They've never fought a war that lasted more than a few weeks. Every species they attacked either surrendered immediately or was completely destroyed. Until they met us." Amy replied grimly. "Right. And sir, I found something else. Communications between the Zephyrian leadership and the Galactic Council going back 50 years. The Council has been using the Zephyrians as their enforcement arm. When a species got too advanced or too aggressive, the Council would point the Zephyrians at them." Amy felt cold anger building in her chest. "So the Council has been using these lizards to keep other species weak and afraid?" "Yes, sir. And they recommended Earth as a target because they were worried that humans might become a threat to their control." "Well," Amy said quietly, "they were right to be worried. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council was in complete panic. The latest reports from the former Zephyrian Empire were beyond their worst nightmares. Observer Nimara's crystal body flickered wildly as she presented her findings. The humans have completely destroyed the Zephyrian Empire in less than 2 years. They have liberated over 400 slave species, and they are building an alliance of freed worlds that spans 47 star systems. How many human ships do they have now? Asked the Ethereal Collective representative. Unknown. They are building new vessels constantly, and they are incorporating technology from dozens of different species. Some of their newest ships are more advanced than anything in the Galactic Council fleet. Ambassador Keltos felt his 4 hearts racing with terror. What about their biological enhancement program? That may be the most frightening development of all, Nimara replied. The humans are modifying themselves using alien biotechnology. Some enhanced humans now have capabilities that exceed the most advanced species in the galaxy. They can survive in space without suits. They can process information faster than quantum computers. They can see across electromagnetic spectrums that most species cannot even detect. The council chamber erupted in frightened voices. Some representatives called for immediate evacuation of their homeworlds. Others demanded that the council surrender before the humans attacked them. Silence. Ambassador Keltos shouted. We still have one option. We can send a diplomatic mission and hope they are willing to negotiate. And if they refuse? Asked the Arcturian representative. Keltos looked around the chamber at his terrified colleagues. Then we evacuate this entire sector of the galaxy and pray they never find us. But the humans were not interested in hiding. General Carter had made a decision that would reshape galactic civilization forever. Admiral Morrison, he said during their final planning session, I want you to take a fleet to Nexus Prime. It's time we had a conversation with this Galactic Council. What should I tell them, sir? Tell them that the age of bullies and oppressors is over. Tell them that humanity now protects the weak and punishes the strong who abuse their power. Tell them that we know what they did, and we're very disappointed in them. The human fleet that approached Nexus Prime was a sight that would be remembered throughout galactic history. 500 ships of human and allied species, crewed by beings who had been slaves just months before, but were now free citizens of the Human Alliance. Leading them was Admiral Amy Morrison, whose own enhancements allowed her to command the entire fleet as if it were a single organism. Behind her came enhanced human soldiers who could fight in any environment, enhanced pilots who moved faster than light itself, and enhanced scientists who understood alien technology better than its creators. But most terrifying of all was the message they carried. Jake Morrison, speaking for all humanity, had recorded a simple statement that was broadcast to every world in the galaxy. This is humanity speaking to the Galactic Council and any other species who think they can prey on the weak. Your time is over. We have seen what you do to innocent species, and we will not allow it to continue. Any world that wants freedom and protection has it. Any species that chooses oppression and slavery will face us. We are humans. We do not surrender. We do not negotiate with bullies, and we never ever forget. When the Galactic Council received this message, they understood that everything had changed. The galaxy's careful balance of power, maintained for thousands of years, had been shattered by a species that should have been just another primitive conquest. Observer Nimara presented her final report with trembling crystal limbs. The humans are not just another apex predator species. They are something new in galactic history. They combine advanced intelligence with predatory instincts. They enhance themselves with alien technology, but retain their human adaptability. They build alliances instead of empires. And most terrifying of all, they seem to be motivated by concepts of justice and protection, rather than simple conquest. Ambassador Keltos stood slowly as the human fleet entered the Nexus Prime system. Contact Admiral Morrison immediately. Tell her the Galactic Council surrenders unconditionally and requests terms for peaceful coexistence. What about our authority over the galaxy? Asked the ethereal representative.